definitely River's Edge. River's Edge was more of a tour de force, and that's honestly where he used like that's till John Wick. I swear to God, that's where Keanu used like the entirety of his acting chops in his young life.
Wait, are we saying he's acting in John Wick? Come on now.
Hey, I would say he does better acting in John Wick than he did in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think that's a fair
way to set the bar high there, Killer.
Hey, you know,
I'm gonna say that he acts in John Wick because there's no way without expert acting that you can give me to give a shit about a character that only growls and mumbles for 2.5 fucking hours.
That's not acting. That's you liking the actor.
And he kills the entire Russian mob.
I'm not against what he does. I'm just saying that's us more liking the actor than it is acting.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
He gets me to give a shit because that's not true. I will, I like enough actors, so I don't feel bad to say, all right, in that one particular movie, they're garbage. I mean, he is the king of whoa. So we really don't have much material to like him for in the first place. Let's not forget his attempts at Shakespeare.
Well, and also record scratch. It did happen, and I've mentioned it on the show before. Callback. But as well,
Walk in the Clouds.
When you want to talk about
but The Walk in the Clouds actually is, I would argue, his best and most acting he's ever done in his entire.
All right, we can debate that
because there's no action.
Well,
he actually has to emote through scenes.
There is that, and record scratch moment. Go back and watch Dangerous Liaison. All right, he is in that movie. All of a sudden, as a random part.
I saw that movie. I was at the age where it passed Uma Thurman. I'm not sure what happened.
No, there was that young Uma Thurman from Massachusetts. Shout out.
I mean, he killed it in that Paula Abdul video.
Yeah. Wait, he was the cat?
Respect. No,
he was the cartoon.
No, not the cat. Rush,
I mean, he might have been. You don't know.
Rush, I want to feel you. I want to feel me. I don't really know.
Maybe don't remember things because everyone was stretched out like Laffy Taffy in the video.
Well, there is that, but I mean, poor Paul Abdul, man. Crap she thought. I mean, whatever.
One time during a field trip, we came back and I was in 6th grade. We came on and it was playing, and literally the entire bus just broke out into karaoke.
All right.
That's how powerful.
That was a great fucking song, man.
That's how powerful Paula was.
Yeah, man.
Paula, she had her moment in the sun, and she, God knows, she took her licks for it. But all right, that brings us to the final act here. He's up on the top of the ropes. He's ready to go. It's the Star Child coming into the ring. We're tagging in. We're bringing him in. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
let's
that
go.
was Superfly Jimmy. Super Jimmy. What was it?
Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy Snuka.
Snuka.
The fuck out of this.
You guys remember that Nintendo game with the pro wrestlers and the one?
Oh yeah.
Best character was the one with Star.
Yep. He was always a good one.
Yeah, my mom never played video games. She played me one time with that and beat the shit out of me.
I'm about to say she whooped your ass, didn't she?
Then dropped the controller, never picked it up again.
She should. She absolutely should.
All right, coming off the top of those ropes, let's hear it, Star Child. What you got for us?
I couldn't think of a first role that was like really all that pivotal, because most of the time, you see an actor in their first role and you're like, oh look, it's them. It's not too many times where like a first role really like blew my mind. I was thinking about Interview with a Vampire, the little girl, I forgot her name.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst, like she was great, but I was trying to think of something that wasn't quite like that. So I was like, let me think of a movie that I really love, that I really appreciated at the time because of the amount of actors in it that were young. So I'm gonna go with The Lion in the Winter. Because you think about that, Anthony Hopkins, Timothy Dalton, John Castle, and Peter O'Toole was aging also, and Katharine Hepburn was aging, but still, this was a pretty iconic cast, and just a walk down memory lane. Put this movie on, and everyone looks young and absolutely fabulous in this. Rewind.
Timothy Dalton and Anthony Hopkins, they're hot for each other. Did they kiss in that movie? I can't remember if they actually
They
kissed.
never got a chance to, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. They're totally hot for each other. That's
because I can't stand, air quotes, gay scenes where, they actually don't exchange physical affection. If it was a man and a woman, tongues would be down throats.
Right.
But because it's two guys, we'll just have them stand awkwardly close to each other. And that means they're gay. But back to the film. It was a kind of sequel to a movie called Beckett. And I think it's like came out in the 60s, but it was with not Anthony Hopkins, Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton. You remember that?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, is it Beckett itself? I mean, it sounds kind of like.
Yeah, it's just Beckett.
Oh, it's Beckett. Yes, no, I know Beckett. Yes, no, absolutely.
Yeah, Beckett came out, and it was Peter O'Toole, Richard Burton, and Sir John Gielgud.
Yes, I just literally was just scrolling it up right as you.
Yeah, Sir John Gielgud, who is amazing in a ton of different movies. But this movie was kind of A Lion in the Winter was kind of a sequel to Beckett because it was about Henry II. And in the first movie, Henry II, again, a very young Peter O'Toole in that film, is an arrogant bastard. Like, he is one of the few depictions of what you imagine a king of that period being. Abusive to his people, a giant fucking man baby, absolutely no filter, and is just abusive to everyone up and down the line. And it's amazing because, he's the king. He doesn't need a filter. He doesn't need to lie to anyone. So it's like, in one sense, you're like, this man is an unapologetic dick. But in another sense, you're like, well, yeah, he would be. You told him that he is God's representative on earth. That's how to make an asshole. All right. Like, this dude is going to be fucking impossible. So, spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for his relationship with Beckett. Beckett is actually played by Richard Burton. Yes. And it changes in between movies. Like, let's just say it changes how he sees his role as the king and how he sees all the people around him. So fast forward to A Lion in the Winter. By the time A Lion in the Winter comes around, he's older. He's got a lot more kids. He does not like them. And he is thinking about his legacy. He's thinking about his empire. So by this point, he has 3 sons, Geoffrey, John, and of course, Richard I. And it's surrounded around his relationship with his wife, who plays Eleanor of Aquitaine. Catherine Hepburn plays her. Yes. And his extremely dysfunctional relationship with all of them. And when they're just tearing into each other, like, shit like this does not happen in movies anymore. Like, they are so fucking hurtful towards each other. Like, nothing is off the table at any time. Like, they are just absolutely nasty to each other. And it's like, when I was younger seeing this, it's like I'm seeing all of these people who usually, he's playing all of these stoic, uptight roles, and Jesus fucking Christ, they're being nasty to each other. And a couple of pivotal moments, one of which is in the movie, Henry is having an affair with the young woman who is supposed to marry one of his sons, and who was raised by his wife that he currently keeps in prison because she tried to overthrow him and kill him with one of her kids.
Details.
Got to love that period in British history. If you want to know where all of Game of Thrones came from, that was it. Just rampant betrayal and abuse towards one another. Another pivotal part is, like we just touched on, the idea that Richard I was into the boys and that he had a relationship with a very young King Philip. Not impossible, but I think in a way, even though this movie is much older, they handle it much better than movies today handle gay couples or just like unspoken affection or just not coming to grips with that side of your sexuality. I think they handle it much better, even though these two characters end up, more or less resenting each other for it because of the dynamic that they have this relationship. Again, you can't see this happening any other way. But just to see Anthony Hopkins and Dalton having this kind of back and forth with each other, when I first saw it, I won't lie, was a little uncomfortable. Not because they were gay, but just because I had never seen these two actors, play some. People say that, Hannibal Lecter is supposed to be gay. I
Ah.
don't know 100% for sure that he is supposed to be gay, but they say he's supposed to be gay. But still, this is Anthony Hopkins and Timothy Dalton, this extremely bizarre relationship. And then the ending where he comes up with a plan to deal with all of them. Henry II comes up with a way to deal with all of them. And it's extreme. It's extreme. And again, all of these actors are playing all of their parts to the absolute hilt, and it was mind blowing. I can't even say for sure that I've seen any of them or all of them. Probably Katharine Hepburn has, but, play up a part the way they did in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually one of my favorite movies.
It's a hell of a film. I mean, it
Yeah.
is, and you're right. I didn't even think about such a young Anthony Hopkins in it, and Dalton, right? Who we
Mhm.
call back. I think we talked about him in the last episode.
Yeah.
I guess we're in a
Well,
Dalton state of mind.
Yeah. John Castle too was also pretty young in it.
Yes.
He had done a couple of movies with Peter O'Toole, including a weird ass version of Man of La Mancha. It's like them and Sophia Loren and a bunch of other actors again, and it's interesting. But he's actually in it also, and also very young. Yeah, it was a pretty mind blowing film at the time for me.
It's funny you mentioned Katharine Hepburn. I think that is one of her finest roles, and I think she was such a well, her relationship with Spencer Tracy was so well known, and they did so many fine films together. They're not bad, but it's almost to that point where they're not acting. They have real affection for each other. It's a famous affair. We all know that they have. They're often playing a married couple, and it's sort of the foibles there. They take on big quotes racial relations, and guess who's coming to dinner, and they're whatever ambivalence going on there. So she, they had some fine acting roles, but I felt that role she had to push herself just a little out of her comfort zone, just something that was new. She's a little bit older in it, and I can still see her saying goodbye. I can see the end of the movie in my head always, this is a movie I will chastise you listeners for. If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. It's a hell, as Greg said, it's a hell of a piece of film. But I can see her saying goodbye as she's getting back on the boat to take her back out to exile. Like this
jail,
this is her, like he gives her like a yearly week or so out on parole. It's how amazing is that? You think about, we think about Oprah interviews now and all the scandal they cause, right? Can you imagine being like, the bitch has got her week off of jail now, right? I gotta treat her like the queen for like a week.
Fun fact, that wasn't the last time they tried to overthrow and kill him.
Nope.
No. That was the time. That was
pillow talk. The pillow talk, the dinner table talk in that household, man. Forget, like I said, forget moving to Canada or moving to the U.S. Right?
I would recommend them both. I'd recommend Beckett. Absolutely. Again, it's a young Richard Burton, John Gielgud, Peter O'Toole. If you love those actors, you're going to love this. It's more, Peter O'Toole being over the top, insane Henry II. So obviously that's why they made this second film about him. Again, the idea that you can get away with a film like this today, like he is an unapologetic asshole. Like he is impossible in this fucking movie. Like if you can get through it on his basic personality, and then the second film, would absolutely recommend that too. But they're hard watches because they don't, at no point do they apologize for anyone's behavior.
Right.
And they don't make, if you walk away and you have sympathy for these characters for whatever reason, it's your choice, but they don't force it down your throat. These are characters you have to take as they are.